Math 7, Lesson 8.1, Samples and Surveys. A survey examines public opinion, attitudes, or behavior. So, like, people will take a survey on, like, how many people liked this movie. A group of people or things is a population. So, for example, seventh graders would be a population, like a certain group. A part of the population is called a sample. So, with our seventh graders, part of the sample could be we're taking a survey on the girls in the seventh grade classroom. So, the girls would be the sample, the population would be the seventh graders. When each person is equally likely to get chosen, it's a random sample. So that would be if, let's just say the seventh graders, we put all of the seventh graders' names into a hat or a jar and we pulled out a name. That would be a random sample because everybody has the same chance of getting their name drawn. When people are picked quickly, it's a convenience sample. That would be in the seventh grade class if I said, the 5 people closest to my desk, we're going to ask a question or we're going to sample. So then the sample became just the people that were close to my desk because that was the easiest thing to do. That would be a convenience sample. So let's take a look at how we would figure out how we would take a look at samples and surveys. So one example would be if we have 48 out of 80 people surveyed support the mayor in the city. Make a prediction of how many would support the mayor out of 4,000 people that live in the town. So when they take surveys, they don't ask everybody in that city or that town the question. They'll take a small sampling of the population, and then they'll make a generalization to everybody in that town. So that's what we're doing here. So 48 out of the 80, and that is, this is right here. This is going to be the size of our population. This is the size of those that are being sampled. So this is our sample. And then this right here is our actual population. And this right here, the bottom number is the size. So this would be, the 80 would be the size of our sample, and this would be the size of our population. This is the total. So the total of our population, of our sample, the total of our population. And this one right here is what we're trying to look for. So here it would be how many would support the mayor. So this would be a yes vote. So if we took a look at our sample right here, 48 out of 80 said yes. And we want to know how many, what's the yes vote out of the actual population, which would be 4,000. So we have our proportions set up, and now we're going to cross multiply. So we'd have 80x equals, we multiply those together, and we're going to get 48 times 4,000. So we get 80x equals 192,000. Solve for x, so we divide both sides by 80, and we get x equals 2,400. So this is the actual number of yes votes of the whole population. Right here, we were solving for that x right there. Let's take a look at number 1 here. Choose the more reliable way to get information about a population. Support your decision underneath it. So is it more reliable asking all of the people on one city bus if they support public transportation, or asking every 10th person that you see at the mall whether or not they support public transportation? So which one of these is more reliable? It would be this one, because you get a more varied opinion that better represents the population. So on A, you're only asking people that are riding, that are on a city bus. And they obviously are going to support public transportation because they're taking it. But if you were to ask people at the mall, then you're going to get a more varied approach because they might have gotten to the mall many different ways. So it's going to be a more random sample. So here is you get a more varied opinion. And that opinion is going to better represent your population. Number 2 is we want to create a scenario that shows a biased way to collect information from people. Number 2 is create a scenario that shows a biased way to collect information from people. So what does biased mean? Biased is anything that favors a particular outcome. So for example, a second particular outcome. If we were to go to, let's say your local skate park, and you were to ask everyone there if they think the city should allow skateboarders to skate anywhere. So that's going to be biased because you're asking only those that are at the skate park. And of course they're going to say that, yeah, I think skateboarders should be able to skate anywhere because they are the skateboarders. If you were to ask the general population, they might not like the fact that skateboarders are skating on stairs or in parking lots. They might have a different opinion. So if you're only going to ask those that it relates to or that it affects, then that's a biased sampling. Here's some more examples. Use proportional reasoning to make a prediction. Number 1 is 7 out of 10 people like Captain Crunch. I happen to be one of those. I love Captain Crunch. If you surveyed 500 people, how many do you think would like Captain Crunch? Well, we're not going to survey 500 people. We want to do a random sampling, which means take a sample of a smaller population and then make a generalization. So first of all, we start with our sample size. So 7 out of the 10 in our sample, so this is our sample, like Captain Crunch. So how many out of the population? So this would be out of, let me get rid of this arrow. So out of our population, we have 500. So out of the 500, how many of those will like Captain Crunch? So now we're going to cross multiply. We have 10x equals 7 times 500. 10x equals 3,500. Divide both sides by 10. X equals 350. So 350 people out of the 500 will like Captain Crunch, based on the sample that we took of 7 out of 10. Number 2, 57 out of 100 people voted for Bob. Okay, so first of all, we're going to write down our sample, and that is 57 out of 100. If 500 people live in the town, that means our population size is going to be, 5,000. 5,000. How many do you think will vote for Bob based on our sample? 100x equals 57 times 5,000. Divide both sides by 100, and x is going to be 2,850 people. Number 3 is we're going to use the table above to answer the following questions. Remember that the table is just a sample of the full population. So number 3 is we have 7 apples weigh between 100 and 120 grams out of the 50 apples sampled. If a store has 500 apples, how many do you think will weigh between 100 and 120 grams? So with this information, we can set up a proportion. We're going to start with our sample size. So 7 out of the 50, and our actual population of apples, or amount of apples, is 500, and we want to know how many will weigh between that 100 and 120. So that's what we're trying to solve. So again, we're going to cross multiply. $50x equals 3,500. Divide both sides by 50, and you get x equals 70 apples. So 70 apples out of the 500 will weigh 100 to 120. Number 4, how many apples in the sample weigh between 120 and 180 grams? So let's take a look at 120 to 180 grams. So here's 120 to 140. So that's 3 plus, now here is 140 to 160, and there are 3 more. And then 160 to 180, and there are 2 more. So that's how many apples in the sample weigh between 120, which is right here, and 180. So all of those right there. So that is a total of 368 apples. Number 5, if a store has 500 apples, how many do you think will weigh between 60 and 80? So here's our sample, and that's going to equal, so there are 50 that we know are in our sample size out of a population of 500. So this is what we need to find using our chart. So we want to find those between 60 and 80. So I'm going to go back to our chart, and 60 and 80 is right here. Right here. And there are 13 that are between 60 and 80. So 13 of the 50, and we want to know how many that will actually be. Cross multiply equals 13 times 500. And so when we solve that, it's going to be x equals 130 apples. Let's take a look at number 6. if a store has 2,000 apples, how many do you think will weigh between 160 and 180 grams? Okay, so we're going to use our table, and in our table, our sample size is out of 50, and the population, or the amount of apples, true apples here that we're looking for, is out of 2,000. So we're going to go back to our table, which is our sample, and we're going to look for how many in our sample were between 160 and 180. That's this amount right here. So there were 2. So 2 out of the 50, and we're going to solve for how many apples that actually is out of the 2,000. So again, we're going to cross multiply, set up our equation, and we're going to get 50x equals 4,000. And when we solve that, we get x equals 80 apples.